So, let me know if you can hear me, okay? I'm once again out and about and thought I'd stop in for a few minutes to talk to you guys because I haven't seen you in a minute and I missed you. So, hi. Sorry, I'm trying to hang on to my power pack because I am rapidly running out of juice. But still, I wanted to stop by and say hi to you guys and to talk once again about another topic that I think really needs some attention because it keeps coming up. This whole thing about honesty in relationships. So let me know if you can hear me. Thank you for the thumbs up. I'm going to assume that you can hear me. Hi Avery, thanks for coming in. Hi Kevin, thank you. And hi Rory. It is time to talk just for a few minutes. I'm not going to keep you long, but this whole idea about honesty in relationships is something's not going anywhere, right? Because when you talk to most people about what they want in their relationships, it's real high on the list. You know, people go on and on about how they hate it when they're lied to. They're tired of being abused. They're tired of being misled. They're tired of people saying one thing and doing something else. They want honesty in their relationships. And that's sort of the mantra that we keep hearing, especially all across social media, even outside of social media. You hear it even about office relationships or family relationships. It is the bedrock that relationships are built on. And in fact, it's true to an extent that it's impossible to have an authentic relationship without it. The problem is we still have these dismal relationship statistics. We still have marriage statistics that are absolutely scary in many respects. And a lot of the reasons that marriages are falling apart are because of dishonesty about something. Whether it is about finances, whether it is about values, whether it's about priorities, whether it's about what's important to you as opposed to what's important to your mate, whether it's about fidelity. It is dishonesty in some area that is causing the breakdown and destruction of so many relationships unnecessarily. The problem is that most people, the disconnect, the way I see it, is that most people think that if they say something, that it means that it's actually what they want. If you ask them what they want and they tell you, most people assume that that's what they actually want. And then they spend the relationship investing all this time and energy and effort into trying to give that, be that, do that. I cannot count the number of times my inbox is lit up with somebody saying something to the effect of, they said they wanted A through Z, and I am A through Z, and we're breaking up. And they cheated anyway. Or they're not interested in me. They just stopped caring about what was important to me. It happens all the time. And they're completely confused about that. You know, I am everything they said they wanted to make, but they cheated on me with somebody who's nothing like that. They're investing all their time and their effort into somebody who is the exact opposite of what they said they wanted in a mate. Happens all the time. People have this idea that what you want should be fair, should be reasonable, should be rational, should be a bunch of different things like that. Things that look good, sound good, make sense, all of that, right? The fact is that what people want can't be regulated, it can't be legislated. And it's not logical, it's not politically correct, it's not fair, it's not reasonable. And as soon as you stop trying to make it all of those things and accept it for what it is, your life will be a lot easier as far as your relationships go. It's like, it's not reasonable. Desire is not reasonable. What people want is not reasonable. People are not going to stop wanting what they want just because you don't like it. Now, they'll say what's politically correct. They'll say what sounds good. They will say what gets them the desired result. And whatever that desired result is has something to do with whatever it is they want from you. It's not about you personally. They see you as a vehicle to get what they want. There's something about you that they want to connect with in some way. But the way they want to connect with you has something to do with what they want from you. They're not connecting with you for you. They're connecting with you for the feeling that they get when they're with you. The feeling that they get. It's not about you. When somebody tells you that they're in love with you, they're not in love with you. They're in love with what they feel like when they're with you. They're in love with the experience that they have of themselves when they are with you. That's why it doesn't really matter how fabulous you might be or how well you fit this laundry list of what they say they want in a partner. Because that's not why they're with you anyway. They're with you because of how they feel. How they feel, not how you feel. They're with you because of how they feel when they're with you. And if, in fact, they can figure out a way to get from you what feels good to them, they'll continue to do that. Even if it means saying what they believe you want to hear, even if it means doing what they think you want to see. It's not authentic, necessarily. It's just what they believe you're expecting. They're trying to get a prescribed response from you. And as long as they can get that response, it's primal, it's instinctive. They're not necessarily being malicious, although there are some predatory people who are being malicious. They are. But instincts are what they are. The way we're drawn to each other is primal. It's not logical. It's not fair. It's not reasonable. It's none of that. It's all emotional. It's all feeling. It's all of that. That's what draws us together. Now, what keeps us together, that's logic. And people are making decisions about staying together based on what drew them together. And that's why so many relationships fall apart the way they do. Because those are two different things. There are two different things that draw us together than to keep us together. That's why good dates don't necessarily make good mates. Good dates just mean good dates. It doesn't mean it's a good idea for you to share the rest of your life with them. Attraction and compatibility are two entirely different things. It's a bonus when you can have both in the same person. However, it's not usually the case. It doesn't happen most of the time. And people keep making all of these relationship choices based on what they're attracted to, rather than on what they're compatible with. Because they keep saying they want honesty in their relationships, and then when they get it, they run. Honesty isn't really what you want. What you want is what you want. That's what you want. You want somebody to give you what you want the way you want it. That's why you get into a relationship. You're trying to get what you want from that person the way you want it. Reasonable, intelligent people can figure out ways to make it sound good most of the time, and that's what they do. They make it sound good, they make it look good, they dress it up. That's the representative phase that people keep talking about so much of the time. They just the Chris Rock mantra. You are meeting their representative, and the representative can hang out for years. Some of you married the representative, and you're living with the consequences now because you keep jumping through hoops trying to get the representative back. And the representative was a fantasy. It was created. It was created to get you hooked. And once that happened, you didn't know what to do when the real showed up, when the representative went away, when the primal kicked back in, when all of the logic and all of the fairness and all of the reason and rational went away, and all of that primal instinctive kicked in. You didn't know what to do with it, or you didn't like it. And now you're wondering who this person is. This isn't what I signed up for. And that's very true. It's definitely not what you saw. But because you didn't wait long enough for that phase to go away, or because you didn't pay attention to the right details. You had the honesty all along. You just interpreted it the way you wanted to see it instead of the way it actually was. When we ask for honesty, we have to be ready to accept the responsibility for the consequences that come with it. People only ask for honesty when they're getting what they want from it. The minute honesty shows up and gives you something that you don't want or that you don't like, then you start trying to rewrite the story to make it fit whatever your narrative is about what your relationship is supposed to be. And when it's not that in real life, then you wonder what happened. As if you didn't know it wasn't going to be that way. And you did know, but you chose not to pay attention to it. Or you chose to rewrite it in a way that actually felt better to you because it felt better to you. Because just like they're trying to get what they want, you're trying to get what you want. That's why we get into relationships in the first place. We're all trying to get what we want. And we're trying to get it the way we want it. And we don't want to look too bad in the process. We don't want to look like bad people. We don't want to look selfish. We don't want to look like we don't care about the other person in the relationship. And a lot of the times, we really do care. But the minute we cross that line where we are willing to sacrifice what's in our best interest in order to be what we think our partner wants us to be, that's where we set ourselves up to be used and misused and abused over and over and over again. You can't ever put yourself in a position where the wants and the desires of your mate are more important to you than what is in your best interest. Your best interest. Not necessarily your self-interest. What's in your best interest. What it is that makes you your best version of yourself. You shouldn't be tying yourself to any relationship that doesn't make you the best version of yourself, that doesn't help you facilitate becoming the absolute best person that you are. But Eden, what if What if doing that? What if taking care of myself? What if taking care of my own best interests is something that my mate doesn't like or doesn't want, or it makes them angry, or they feel like I'm being selfish, or the list goes on and on. And I'm saying to you, you cannot serve another person's needs and disserve your own in the process and expect to have a loving, healthy, lasting relationship. It doesn't work. You have to put your own mask on first. You have to put your mask on first. You have to take care of you first. You have to take care of your needs first. Your requirements first. Otherwise, there's no sense in you being in that relationship, because it will only drain you. It will ultimately leave you spent. And if you don't agree, find me an example where it actually worked out well. I'll wait. It never works any other way. Now, does that mean that you have to be vicious and uncaring, inconsiderate? It doesn't mean any of that. What it does mean is the minute that you come to a point in a relationship where what your mate wants is something that you know you don't want to give them, that you know is a violation of, it is an assault on your soul to do it, and you know it. You know it violates your personal convictions. You know that it violates what you held to be true about yourself. It makes you suspicious. It makes you dishonest. You're having sex you don't want to have. You're saying yes when you want to say no. You're giving what you don't want to give. And you know it. And the only reason that you're doing it is because you've been asked to do it, or because you've been manipulated into it, and you know before you do it, because you feel it in your gut. You feel that knot in your stomach just thinking about it. And then you talk yourself out of it. You say you're overthinking. You say you're being too sensitive. You say you're making too much out of it. It's not that big a deal. That's how you talked yourself into believing that sex was casual. Nothing casual about it. But that's a different video. And I don't have the time to go into it right now. But the minute that you think that it's a good idea to consistently and constantly make these own assaults on your own soul for the sake of saying yes to something that you think is going to keep your mate with you a little bit longer, understand that you have set yourself up to be prey in a predatory situation. And that never works. Even if you stay in it long term, you'll never be happy. You'll never have peace of mind. You'll never be the best version of yourself. And here's the rub. You'll never be what they asked you to be in the first place. You'll never jump through enough hoops to make them happy with you. They will only throw up another hoop. So just be in the relationships that actually serve you. Take care of your needs first. Take care of your needs best. Stop getting into connections that sap your soul. Stop getting into these soul-suck relationships. Don't do it. It's not going to work. No matter what they said, no matter how good the sex is, No matter how much your family likes them, no matter how good they look on your arm, no matter how much you like looking at them, no matter how much money they spend on you, no matter what it is that's keeping you holding on, you'll still be going to bed night after night with your tears in your ears, trying to figure out how you got there. When social media isn't looking and your cell phone camera is turned off and there's nothing but you in the darkness, you'll know the deal. You'll know the deal that nobody else knows. You'll know the deal that you'll get on social media and lie about. You'll know the deal. So if you actually want a relationship that matches the image that you put out on social media, if you want that relationship, then understand that when you ask for honesty, you're going to have to be evolved beyond your ego. Your ego cannot be your first consideration if honesty is what you want in a relationship. Are you willing to put down your ego and deal with what actually is instead of trying to make it into what you want it to be? Lots of questions. I went all over the place. Stream of consciousness. That's how it goes. Sometimes it is like that. Sometimes I actually plan these things, but I'm not even going to talk about these things jumping out of my ears anymore. But anyway, that's enough for right now. I am going to give you your Sunday afternoon back. Feel free to share, to like, to comment, do all of those good things to someone that you might think would be helped by this. If you think this was useful, I would appreciate the help getting the word out, because I'm still just one person. And I need your help reaching the people who would actually be served by this. So I thank you for your time. I appreciate you stopping by. And leave me comments. I'll be back later to talk about them. I'll be commenting personally later on. So thanks for checking in. Happy Sunday. And if there's anything you'd like me to talk about later, let me know in the comment section. I'll be back soon. Thanks, Passionators. Bye-bye.